So has anybody got access to the agenda?
I could try to see if I could look it up, Counselor.
Yeah, I mean, just one at a time. I mean, I don't mind running the meeting. I just can't see the agenda. I looked at it earlier today, but
Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me find it on my email.
They might have it in front of me. I can just go down the list if you want. Counselor.
Yeah.
Thank you, yeah, because I can't find it. I'm sorry.
yeah,
Okay.
anybody,
Thank you.
who was
Thanks,
that
TJ.
that said you had
That's
it?
TJ.
It's me.
TJ.
It's me,
TJ.
Counselor.
So what's the first item, TJ?
The April revenue versus expenditure report. Pat Burns, I only want to talk briefly about it.
Sure. Thank you, counselors. Tonight I'll be presenting the April revenue versus expenditure report. As you can see, we should be about 83% for both revenue and expenditures. Our revenue is over. We're at 86%, and really the driving force behind that is our real estate and personal property bills. 100% of them were billed and they're due on May 1st. So you're always going to see that revenue ahead of expenses in that respect. And also our motor vehicle excise, we're at 94%. And that is due to the major commitment is billed in February and is due in March. And on the expenditure side, the school department's only at 76%, but you're going to see that number ramp up and that will be close, if not at 100% by the end of the fiscal year.
They're at 76% of revenue
Of expenditures.
of expenditures. Okay. So basically, Pat, so those seem like normal things that you just mentioned. Do you have any concerns?
No, not the concerns I have, I think we're addressing a few of them this evening. The big one is a transfer within the snow and ice budget that'll allow me to reverse the deficit spending I allowed them to do for the winter. It turns out that their budget right now is going to be $64,000 under, but we need to move money from salaries into other than personal services because their expenditures were higher on the OTPS side and they had savings on the salary side.
Yeah, and is that taken care of with a transfer tonight?
Yes, that I think TJ will be talking about that a little later, and that really is just so that there's a report every year that we're required to file with the Department of Revenue. It's called a snow and ice data sheet, and it shows that we didn't overexpend our snow and ice budget, and this will allow me to kind of finalize that report in July. It's due in September. So it's an important transfer to get done this evening.
Okay, great. Thanks. Anybody have any questions for Pat? Sorry, guys, just a quick message I have to send. Okay, not hearing anybody. Next item, what is the next one? TJ?
Math and motion grant for $279,000, 610. This is a grant to address obesity and overweight and chronic disease in the city. It's a grant for the Department of Public Health, from the Department of Public Health to HHS.
Okay, and anybody have any? So I'm presuming Ellen will be there to talk about that, or someone.
I would imagine so. If not, Lindsay, I might be on there to answer some questions as well.
Okay, so it's a obesity grant. Anybody have any questions on that one? Okay, we'll go forward then. Thank you, TJ. What's next, TJ?
The tobacco control program from the Mass Department of Public Health to HHS for $243,364. There is no match, and this is to try to stop underage smoking.
All right, so these are two health related things in a row, obesity and tobacco control. I see on the council, from the council, we have just according to, we have a Steve. I'm not sure who Steve is. Is that Steve
That's me,
Lonergan?
Counselor. Steve
Got it,
Lonergan.
Steve Lonergan, okay. And we have Zeta, who's on this committee with me. We have LeVar, and that's all I'm seeing, the three of us. So do you guys have any questions on the tobacco control grant?
I do not. Thank you, Counselor.
All right, thank you. All right, sounds good. TJ, you're doing well. Move us along to number 4.
TJO veterinarian grant, the foundation for TJO is giving a grant $45,887 to cover part of the veterinarian salary.
Oh, so it's not a new services. It's we have a veterinarian and this grant helps us pay their salary.
Yeah, this is giving it adding 16 more hours per week. Or paying 16 hours per week, sorry about that. And the
Has
city,
that been
yeah, TGO,
one of those difficult yeah, has that been a difficult job to fill?
very much so. We've struggled filling it. We just recently increased the salary to attract and retain the veterinarian we have. You'll note in the next couple of items that they're going to be vet techs as well. So we're trying to really staff up and provide the resources to TJO.
All right, that's great. That's good news. Anybody got a question? If not, we'll move along to TJ.
So TJO vet
I don't
tech.
see any questions. Yeah, go ahead, TJ. Sorry.
So this one is the TJO vet tech grant from the foundation of $28,282. The foundation that would do this grant and the next grant are going to fund 2 vet techs who work 32 hours a week. And it's $28,282.
So these are people that are veterinary technicians. So 2 more people to help out.
Yeah, they're going to cover part of the salaries.
All right, that's excellent. Just speak up if you want to say something, because I can't really see. I'm driving up Orange Street right now. So assuming there's nobody with any questions, let's move to the next item 6, whatever.
Another TJO vet tech grant. This one's in the amount of $23,215. Similar, it's to fund the part of the salary for a veterinarian technician.
Okay. I'm gonna assume there were no questions on the last one, so we'll just roll through this one. LeVar or Zeta or anyone, just speak up if you want to ask a question. But go ahead, TJ, to the next one.
So the FY23 Senior Community Services Employment Program is an increase of $13,218. The awarding entity is Senior Services of America, and this is to provide training for our seniors to try to get back into the workplace if they're looking for it.
So this is more the senior, some money to pay seniors to work, but does this have anything to do with those tax incentive things? You know, there's
those are not linked. We don't have that program up and running yet. This is just to cover additional funding for more seniors to get training and placed in jobs.
Okay. All right, well, that sounds good. Moving along, what's next?
So this one is from the Mass League of Staff Appreciation Fund, the Department of Health and Human Services, from the Mass League of Community Health Centers for $6,157 to acknowledge the work done by the health center staff during COVID-19 and by giving them an appreciation breakfast and luncheon or other appreciation to thank them for their service.
And if I'm not mistaken, that's a grant that's coming in from somewhere else for that?
Yeah, the Mass League of Community Health Centers is the awarding entity.
All right. Any questions? Not hearing any, okay, move on to the next one, please.
So this one is. Hold on, I think my binder's off. The next one is. The DPW overtime account, a transfer from DPW overtime and salaries and wages into vehicle supplies and accessories for an amount of $120,000. We're projecting a surplus in overtime, so we want to move it to cover the unanticipated cost of vehicle supplies for our fleet.
But not vehicles, vehicle supplies like tires and that sort
Yeah,
of thing.
maintenance, it's for our maintenance of the vehicle, so we have the ability to buy supplies between now and June 30th.
Yeah, okay. That seems to make sense, and we don't need, there's no issue with continuing to pay the salaries or the overtime.
Correct.
All right, good. All right, sounds good to me. Move right along.
Next one is a donation to the city libraries for $17,500 on behalf of Friends of the Springfield Library. Without,
Nice.
does not appear to have any restrictions tied to it.
That's a different group than the library commission, right? Am I right?
Yes, Friends of the Library is the
Yeah.
funding arm of the library, of the libraries.
Could you just repeat that again? It broke up a little.
Yeah, Friend of the Library of the Springfield Library is the arm that is a nonprofit that can fundraise on behalf of the libraries.
All right. All right, that's great. And that just goes into the general
So there's
library.
a special donation fund in the libraries to use.
Okay, good. All right, you got any others?
Yeah, $1,000 to the Parks Department from the New Valley Bank and Trust for the 2023 Forest Park Concert Series.
Oh, to help subsidize it?
Yeah.
That's nice. All right. Sounds good. Moving along.
So now we have a transfer from reserve for contingencies in the amount of $10,000 for advertising in the city clerk's office.
Does this mean that there's been more advertising than we originally budgeted for?
Correct, that we just need to make sure that they have enough to get through the remainder of the fiscal year.
Yep. That sounds logical. Sounds good. Zeta, LeVar, anything?
No, sir.
All right, great. Carry on, TJ, you're doing well.
Yeah, so the next one is a transfer from reserve for contingencies of $8,000 in the elections office. That is to cover a projected deficit in the salaries and wages line item based upon settling a contract with the unionized employees.
So you're transferring from where to?
$8,000 from reserve for contingencies into salaries and wages of the elections office.
In reserve for contingencies, do you have any idea? Is that the one that's usually, it's around 300,000 at the start of the year? Is that line?
That's that line, correct.
Is there still money in there?
I'm not sure how much is there. Pat, I don't know, do you have a balance?
If both of these orders are approved tonight, the remaining balance will be $276,790.
So we haven't used that line much then.
We've used it quite a bit. We did transfer some money in there at the beginning of the year to kind of beef up the amount in case we ran into any unforeseen circumstances. So I can give you a breakdown of what we spent it on if you'd like.
I mean, if you have it at the 7 o'clock meeting, that might be a nice little piece of info anyway. But not now. You don't need to look. You don't need to look for it. You know, if you could just say we put a little extra here, to sure we have enough all year. We spend it on X, Y, and Z. So we have now.
Yep, I have that.
That would be fine. And that'd be great. Okay.
Yeah, and last on your agenda, Pat, I don't see the snow and ice one on.
That was the 120 that you had talked about.
Okay, that's the 120. Okay, perfect. All right, thank you. So the last one is a BOPI, a bill of prior year for an employee to get a reimbursement from HHS that she traveled last year on behalf of work and due to a contract negotiations, which she did not submit reimbursement. It's for a total of $183.72. We're asking for permission to reimburse her using this year's money.
Okay, obviously, you must be in support or approving the travel that was taken, so seems fine to me.
And in
Here-
record time, I think we wrapped up everything that was on the agenda. I gotta
That's
do this.
great. TJ, you should be on the finance committee on a regular basis.
I'll move to Ward 7 and run. How does that sound?
We'll put you on it without that.
Ex officio.
Funny. That was funny, TJ. That was funny.
Anybody? That sounded like Tracy. Do you have any questions, Tracy, or anything?
Well, I only heard bills of a prior year, so that's enough.
Well, $183.
All set.
All right.
All right.
I just got back to my house. I'm in the driveway. It sounds like we can just sign off at this point.
Yes.
Yep.
If you need
All right.
anything, thanks, everyone.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
everybody.
Bye.
Thanks. See you in an hour. Thanks.